Pride of Higara. This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shah. Looks like you could use a hand. Attention all Sobani, pick your targets and engage.
Hello everyone. Hello. This is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise for an episode of Star Ruler. Okay, so I decided to bring this series, well, I guess this is a start of a new series, but I decided to bring this game back to the channel because one, it's one of my favorite space games of all time, next to Homeworld and Sins 2 and Sins 1, because one, it was the first Steam game I ever bought, and it was probably my first game, an indie game that I ever really sunk a ton of time into. I was actually just looking at how many hours I have on this, and it's like 750. Quite a bit. I put way more hours into this game than I really should have. But anyways, the reason I decided to bring this back is because not only was this one of my first Steam games, but it was also one of the first games that really got me into modding. Warcraft 3 was like the original game that got me into modding when they had the world editor and stuff like that, and we made like custom dungeon runs and things like that. But this is when I really started getting into modding, where I started messing with every single thing, messing with like all the ship stats and like all the requirements for building things and the formulas for research and stuff like that. I've been developing a mod for this game on and off near a decade now, and it's not near completion, but I was messing around a bit and I was like, recording these series helped motivate me for my developing my Cataclysm mod, so it should help develop me for my Star Ruler mod. So that's what we're going to check out, and the mod is simply called Star Ruler Overhaul. There's nothing like super fancy about it, but the goal of it is to make Star Ruler more interesting. I've added a lot more modules and stuff that we can play around to make a lot more interesting ships. I've also added a lot more, well, we'll probably get into the game, but there's like a lot more steps when it comes to like improving like research, or not really research, when it comes to like improving your ships, like power systems or other options for like modules and stuff like that. And I will warn you on the reason why I'm not releasing this yet is because the AI doesn't quite work yet. I got scouts working, I got haulers working, I got colonizing working, but they haven't quite gotten their military to work yet. So because of that, we'll have the AI playing so we can like keep an eye on them as the game goes on. But this is going to be a development series similar to Cataclysm, where every episode we're going to be starting the game over, and I'm going to be showing off some of the stuff and whatnot that I made, because I have tons of plans for this mod. Anyways, I think that's not my newest version. That was the newest version. I forgot to name it. I literally just made it. So, yeah, we'll do that. And I'll go ahead and go over the stuff that I usually use. Pirate raids are set to 0.8. Also, pirates and regiments do not work yet. I don't have their structures working because I redid a whole bunch of stuff. Blockades are 2.0. Research, I have all technologies available. Randomized technology links to make it more fun. For the universe, I usually keep all this the same. Unique system, spread out the empires, keep allies together, and temperature fall off. So the further away the planet spawns from the star, the colder and whatnot it'll be. So it's more difficult to get it going, basically. And for those of you who have never played Star Ruler, one of the really cool, unique things about this game is you can have your units set to any scale level. It can be as small and tiny as a probe, or as big as a galaxy-sized ship. If you have the economy to build it, it will be built in this game, which is one of the coolest things, one of the things I love about this game. And then when it comes to research, everything I usually keep at 1.15, except for research cost, which I set to 1.45. And the reason why is because of the adjustments I made to the formula, which I'll go into more details when we actually get into the game. And then we have Spiral Galaxy, 150 count, and spacing 3000. Space objects and balanced start. This is how I usually have the game go. So let's get into it. Alright, Let's go ahead and pause the game for now. So this is the game. Looks like we started out on a gas giant. Our homeworld always starts with 25 slots, and most of it's usually made. There are things that I will be adjusting in my mod once I get to that point. I'll go ahead and show you the planet. So this is how much food we have on the planet, how many ore we have on the planet, how much health the planet has, which isn't really useful until late game. Our labor amount, how many people or jobs we have free, how much population we have, and our current mood, which adjusts the economy. So yeah, and then these are all the stuff that we can build on our planet in order to make it the way we want. So if we want this to be like a metal mining planet, then we'll build a bunch of metal mining complexes. We want to be research focused, build a bunch of researches. We want to build a lot of farm, so we can help the rest of the empire. We can build those, because up here, the top left, this is our empire management. This is how many resources we have in the empire, which if we go to the economy, there is a trade capacity on each one of the planets. And this will be adjusted as I adjust the mod. I'll go in further details here in a moment about it. But you can see a breakdown here of how much we're producing, how much the planet's consuming, how much we're trading, if we're pulling in from the galactic market, or if we are selling to the galactic market, and then the net change of the actual market. Or I believe this is a net change of the capacity we have on our planet, which you can see down here. And once this reaches 100%, it's gone. Those resources are wasted. So you do want to make sure you keep your planets balanced when it comes to all this fun stuff. Now there's multiple things I'm going to be changing once I get to the planets. First off, when you research and improvements of your structures, for some reason in the base game, the workers needed does not go up. But it goes up on your cities. So eventually your cities will be so big and so advanced, you'll need one city to run a gigantic planet. I will be changing that. I'll make sure that workers needed goes up as the level of the factories and whatnot go up as well. So that's one of the things I am definitely planning to adjust. But without further ado, oh, and like I said, you can zoom all the way out because this is a galactic scale game. So this is the entire galaxy, and every single one of these stars has a health bar. Which this star right here has 184 trillion health. So in late game, if your ships get powerful enough, you can blow up these systems, which will literally blow up entire solar systems, which is amazing. Blow up this baby, which has 5.59 petabytes, or petons, whatever the one above trillion, whatever is above trillion, I forget what the number actually is. This will blow up the entire galaxy if you blow up the star. So, really cool. It's really, really, really interesting. You blow up planets because I think they have billions of health, and then the stars have like trillions of health. But anyways, that's like super late game stuff that you'll probably do if you're just trying to actually win the game. Also, one thing I do love about this game, there's no limit on how many AI you can spawn on the game. Unlike other games like Sins 2. I can't wait until Sins 2 has more than 10 players available. I really want to play a giant map with 20 or 30 players on Sins 2. That would be amazing. But yeah, let's look at stuff that I have actually adjusted for the mod. So first off, let's look at holes, because I have made a lot of different holes. And each one of these have been customized to kind of work a certain way. Basically, how you want to use my mod is you want to keep all of your ships synced on the size scale, because it's basically adjusted on the scale. So, like, starting off, I think a size 5 or size 10 is basically where you want your frigates to be, where you want your first ship to be, and then as you unlock new technology, you don't really want to make them bigger because you're going to just make it so expensive where it's, like, impossible to build it. Because, I'll explain why. So if we look at, let's go to frigate hull. First off, let's clear this. Let's go to frigate hull. You see here, this has 15 subsystem spots that you can fill up. We go to the next one, which I believe is cruiser hull, Oop, it is not cruiser. It is destroyer hull. You now have 18. So even though it's going to be the same size, you'll have more space in order to play around with more subsystems, allowing you to build better and more sophisticated ships. And I believe the way right now everything, you can see everything here because I have it set to where it all requires 0 technology in order to unlock, because I'm still testing. Once I get to the point where I'm getting ready to release it, I'll put these behind behind technology walls where it requires a certain level of, I believe it's ship systems. What are you called? There it is, ship construction. You required this to be a certain level in order to unlock it. For the first ones we will have our frigates, and then we will have fighters, which are right here. And fighters are small, they have 8 spots. And then I believe we will have an outpost for our stations, which has 10, no, not an outpost. We would have actual station hull, I believe. No, we'll start off with outpost, which has 10. So you'll have 10 for your stations, 15 for your ships, and then I believe it was 8 for your fighters. It feels a little bit off. What is actual station hull? Station is 20. Oh, wait, I think station is what we're actually going to start off with, because station is the mid-size one. Yeah, and then we'll unlock outposts for people that want to just have a weak station on the edge of the system, and then after that you unlock fortresses. But let's go ahead and read like most of this, because I did put some dialogue and whatnot on all these, so you guys could read them if you want to. So, frigate hull, standard size hull, large enough to be used as trade or colony ships. So again, this is going to be the first one that will automatically be unlocked when you start the game. It's going to be used for haulers, it's going to be used for tankers, it's going to be used for colony ships and basic combat ships. And then after that, I believe the next one would be unlocked is destroyer. Large hull, mainly used for large exploration ships or combat ships. So these ones, we have 18 slots, and I would primarily use these for armored exploration ships going like deep into other galaxies away from the Empire and doing some like deep galaxy exploration, or larger combat ships. And then after that we get cruiser hull. Very large hull, used primarily for advanced combat ships. So these ones have 22 slots available, and they will be used for large combat ships. And then after that, I believe is the Dreadnought. Yeah, which I believe is the largest one. Extremely large hull used to bring your might to bear against your enemies. So this has 29 or 25 slots. So it will be used for maximizing damage against your enemies, basically. Very expensive to build, has lots of hull health and whatnot to protect itself, but you can design a really big ship with this. And that's why I say keep the scale the same on all of your ships, because your scale is going to change based off the amount of space you have for your hull. And then for the fighter class ships, you have fighter hull, which is hull that is light and cheap to build, best for small exploration ships or defensive drones. Then they have 8 slots, and then those will be upgraded to corvette size hulls, slightly smaller than your standard size hull, best for long range exploration or large combat drones. So they have 12 instead of 8, so a lot more space than a fighter. And then we also have the micro hull. Hull that is very light and cheap to build, but offers little room for subsystems. This is a 4. Now, micro ships in my mod, I haven't quite made a spot for them yet, but basically there's going to be specialized hangars that will only have micro ships. Because a micro ship, I would believe, would be up to 10 times smaller than your standard ship. I think that's what I have it set to. I have scouts set to like the size of the micro ship, which is 10 times smaller than the assault frigate, but I'm going to be changing these a little bit to kind of match things a little bit better. Because the assault frigate's probably going to be a 5, hauler's going to be a 5. Colony ship is a 10 right now just because of how colony ships work. But yeah, micro ships are going to be very tiny. And eventually a scout will be changed to micro ship because it's, a scout once it's actually available. Now when it comes to the stations, you have your standard station, which is used for just about everything you need. It has 20 slots, and then your outpost, which is a weak station hull used to make small stations or a cheap station on the border. Has 10 slots, so it has half of the space station, but is cheaper and whatnot to make. And then you have your fortress, strong station hull used for large stations in an area that need to be heavily defended. You have 30 slots. So a fortress still has more than a dreadnought. And fortress and stations will be probably, I would say, about 10 times bigger than these. Maybe about 5 times. They're going to be a lot larger than a frigate. Or any type of standard ship, I would believe. Again, I'm still kind of working out exactly how I want all this to work. Once I get the AI actually working the way I need it to work, like when they start building like combat fleets and stuff like that, I'll start messing around with this, but I need to design custom ships for them to use before I get them working up correctly. But yeah, that is all of the custom hulls I've made. Now let's go to control. Control, I basically kind of kept it the same. I just adjusted some of the requirements of like electronics and stuff. Like I made it to where bridges take less advanced parts and more electronics, because that would make sense to me. It would be a bridge with just a bunch of computers on it. So other than that, I don't think I really changed much. I might have changed some of the controls and whatnot to balance it out a little bit. We'll have to play around more in order to figure all that out. Because again, this is a mod that's like a decade in development, so I don't exactly remember everything I've done. But we have crew quarters, which is your main crew quarters for personnel. They're used to for the bridge of the ship, life support that keeps everyone alive. And then we have a new custom one that I made called maintenance quarters. Specialized crew quarters dedicated to repairing the ship, can be used as main crew if main crew is incapacitated for some reason. So, if we take a quick look at this, the maintenance quarters requires less life support, but that's also because there's less crew. There's 15 there instead of 25, which also means it requires more power because the maintenance crew is, running like diagnostics and using tools and whatnot to repair the ship. Health-wise, it has a little bit more health for that reason too. And then it gives a little bit of regen to the ship. It's a very, very small amount. It's not going to be something that's going to really, really like help combat, but this is activated all the time, as long as the crew is alive, of course. So yeah, that is something new I added in. And then I also added an oxygen tank. This was kind of my solution to help with colony ships. Stores oxygen for the ship in case life support fails. So basically, this just means if your life support fails, the oxygen tank will start ticking down, and once your oxygen tank runs out of air storage, it'll kill all the crew, which kills the ship. So you can lose your life support now, and you don't have to worry too much about your crew instantly dying, which is a really annoying thing in vanilla. And now when it comes to support, first thing we're going to talk about is the power plants, because I have completely redone all the power plants, because the power plant was my favorite part of this mod, or this game. Still is one of my favorite parts. I love messing around with the power draws and stuff like that when it comes to making my ships. And we start with a coal power plant. Yes, I know we're in space. I know we have we actually don't have FTL travel right now, but I know we can explore the galaxy. We're still running on coal power plants. Just go with it. So coal plant, very inefficient but cheap power plant. So also one thing I did for every single power plant, I did give them a little bit of fuel capacity, I believe. Maybe I didn't do it for coal power plants. I thought I did. Let's see, did I do it for the other ones? I did not. Well, that might be something I need to add. Okay. But anyways, the coal power plant is your most basic kind of coal plant. Let's go ahead and we'll go over this with one of our ships I've actually made. We'll go with the colony ship for now, because the colony ship is very interesting, as you can tell. But this colony ship has a size 10, or has a 1.8 size coal plant, provides 920 charge, requires 18 control, and takes and burns. Actually, let's just go back to just a standard one. That way it's easier to see all the numbers. But yeah. So the coal power plant is the first one that you're going to be producing. I believe it requires the least amount of control, if I remember right, but burns the most amount of fuel and has the lowest amount of power output. This one's 18.4. And then after that, we upgrade to oil power plant. So more efficient than coal, but still cheap and not very useful for more power demanding components. The way I've set this up is the first upgrade you get, or the first new power plant you unlock, improves efficiency. The next one after that improves power draw. Next one after that improves efficiency. It kind of went back and forth that way as you promote. And as you get more and more research done, like I believe it would every 4 levels of research I have it set to for unlocking new power plants. The reason why is because I use a different formula for some of the scaling than vanilla did. And the way my scaling works is it just adds 30% to, or 15% for every level. When it comes to hull, when it comes to research time I think is 45%, but when it comes to power efficiency, all that stuff improves by 15% every time you level based off of the base value. Before, it was, I think, like whatever you have it set to, like let's say 30%, it would upgrade by 30%, and then it'll take that total, upgrade by 30%, take that total, upgrade by 30%. It doesn't do that anymore. There's a base value, upgrades by 15%, and then after that, when it levels up again, it'll upgrade it from 15%, or add an additional 15% on the base, making it 1.3, and then 1.45, and then 1.6. So on and so forth. So yeah, again, a lot of time and a lot of development's gone into this mod, and yeah. But anyways, if I bring you out, and then we can compare the differences between these two, as you can see, I think hull is the same. Yeah, hull is the same based off of these two. The amount of power draw is a little bit better on the oil, but fuel efficiency is much better. Oh, and another thing I need to show you guys about fuel efficiency. One of the things that was really frustrating about Star Ruler is once you start getting large ships, the fuel efficiency of your stuff just goes through the roof. Like, it's just so easy to just have a teeny tiny power plant to run your entire base, or your entire ship, once it gets like in the hundreds and even thousands. But if I add a couple zeros here, fuel peak usage 623,000, fuel peak usage 708,000. I fixed that. So now that is no longer an issue, unless I think that it has to be like ridiculously big, like over 300,000, and at that point you're basically like taking over the entire map. But if you have an economy to afford like 10 or 12 ships at a 300,000 scale, then you won. You basically just won based from your economy. So yeah, pretty cool. The next, after oil power plant, we get to gas technology. So more powerful than oil, slightly more efficient, still not good enough for power demanding components. And by power demanding components, I'm talking about like shield generators, lasers, things that are very, very high on the power demand. But if we take this, Oh, and as you can see, as the technology improves, the amount of control required to keep these things running goes up, which will be more uncontrolled once the bridges and whatnot get more technologically advanced. But between oil and gas, usage is basically, or fuel usage is just a little bit lower, but the power output is much better, which will, again, offset it. And after gas, we have ethanol. More efficient than gas, but produces about the same power. So ethanol, yep, a lot more efficient, as you can see from the stats. More control required, and just slightly more power output. And then after ethanol, we get to nuclear power. Nuclear power plant, much more powerful than ethanol power, but just about as efficient. Warning, the reactor will explode if destroyed in combat, destroying the ship and allied ships around it. And yes, there are some spelling errors. I'm still, again, it's being developed. There's still some things I need to fix. So yeah, now if we look at the differences, oh yeah, I did put it in. So there is a charge so that it can have just a little bit of power left over if you lose like your main things that run your charge. Plus, with this, then you won't need a battery if you run a ship that doesn't require a whole lot of power. But yeah, a lot more control requirement, just slightly better fuel efficiency than ethanol, but a lot more power. And once we get to nuclear, that's when we have to start worrying about the ship exploding, which is really cool. And then to go through these a little bit quicker, after nuclear, we have neutronium, which is advanced nuclear reactor. Produces about the same amount of power, as you can see, but it's a lot more fuel efficient. And has a little bit bigger explosion. It's fine. It's fine. And then after that, we have fusion. More powerful and efficient reactor, much more powerful than its nuclear counterparts. So 33.1 compared to 28.1. And then it has control of 2.28 compared to 1.85. And fuel usage of 0.55 compared to 0.48. And then after that, we have advanced fusion, which is a modified version to be much more efficient than its counterpart. And I believe it has just very slightly more power, but much more on the fuel economy. And then after that, you have your antimatter, which is the most powerful and efficient reactor. So 38.6, so a lot better on power draw, a very slightly improvement on fuel efficiency, and much higher on control cost. But yeah, that's all the power, and that took me a long time to design and test and do all the microments. Now, once I actually get these in the game, I'm always going to make their levels synced compared to vanilla, because the problem with vanilla is some of your power plants like level up every 3 or 4 times. I think the antimatter levels up like every 10 levels. It ends up getting unsynced when you get really high in level. So keeping everything only like upgrading itself every level will help keep all that like balanced out. So then after that, when it comes to the components, I made 3 different versions of these. We have the normal component, we have the armored version, and we have the advanced version. The difference is the advanced version is more fragile, but offers more space. So like the advanced fuel cell has more space than the normal fuel cell. The armored version is heavier and provides more more health, but has less cargo room. So like for instance, if we go to fuel cell, we'll have 211 storage, 35 health, 15 mass. Armored version, 25 mass, 50 health, 153 storage. Oh yeah, 153. I thought it was 111 before. The advance is 274, 22.5, and 8.5. So yeah. And then same thing with solar cells. Now, how I balanced out solar cells is I basically gave them the same characteristic as the normal power plants, because the original formula for how solar cells work just never worked right. They were just always be at 100% no matter what. It would like slowly charge up like the way I wanted them to. So I basically gave them the power plant and just made it to where they don't consume any fuel. So they have a large amount of charge. They have a decent amount of control, a lot of health compared to the other ones, and a lot of mass, but provide very little power. That's actually the advanced one. Where's the normal solar cell? Here you are. Yeah, 8.28 power compared to our coal power plant, which is 18.4. So yeah, much less. But when you build them on stations, they're going to be very large, and that makes up for it. But don't expect to run like lasers on your stations unless you get really deep into the technology. Okay, and then after that, we have our drone repair bay, stores repair droids that droid repair bay that will walk around the ship and repair it when necessary. I got inspiration from Cataclysm, where your repair bots walk around your when you play as a Samdog, when your ship gets damaged, you have little drones that come out and they like fly around and repair your ship while you're in combat. Got inspiration from this. So it requires a lot of control because we need people to control those droids and make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Requires a lot of power because it takes a lot of power to run those droids, but gives you a lot more health regen compared to the maintenance crew. And then when it comes to batteries, we have 3 different batteries. You start off with lead acid battery, which is heavy and cheap and has a small amount of charge. And then you upgrade to a lithium battery, which is kind of like in between. It's moderately heavy, moderate charge with moderate durability. And then you upgrade to the organic battery, which holds a lot of charge. It's very light, but very fragile. And I tried to keep these balanced so when you get late game, you'll still have the option to use these. You won't just use organics all the time because of its high charge. You can like downgrade to lithium. I believe that... Oh, I made them all still be metal, so I still need to adjust these a little bit in the future. I haven't adjusted them because I haven't really had a use to use them yet. Okay. And now when we go to engines I have changed a little bit as well. There are multiple different engines. Basically, I took the main engine. I got rid of the one that doesn't require any power because I didn't really see the point of using it. And instead, I took the main engine and the ionic engine, and I made multiple versions of them, and I also made a hybrid version of them. So you have your main engine, which let me see if I can find it, the main thruster. That has also, I did make it the thrusters hold a little bit of fuel storage. I think that's what I was thinking of compared to the nuclear power plant. So that if if these things get blown up, you still have a little bit of fuel to move yourself. But ship components that allows you to move your ship around in space requires fuel to operate. That is your standard one. Then you have the ionic one, which is a thruster that runs completely on electricity, so it doesn't require any fuel whatsoever, but requires a lot of power in order to move. I also kept the control all the same. And then we have a hybrid version of this, which uses both fuel and electricity to move the ship around. So it requires a power, but requires less fuel to move around than the thruster. And then we have the advanced, and then we have the armored version of these. So the advanced thruster provides more thrust, but uses more fuel than your standard one. And then you have the armored thruster, which has more health, but uses less fuel for less thrust. Same thing with the ionics, and same thing with the hybrids. So cool. And in defense, I haven't really messed around too much with this. I might eventually make more of that. Weapons, I was kind of messing around with kinetic weapons, but I haven't exactly gotten them to work the way I want to. I was making like multiple different versions of the traditional kinetic weapon. So we have the kinetic cannon here. We have the faster one, which I believe the difference is it uses less ammo, it shoots faster. I think it has less range too. Let me just see. Where is the range on this thing? 74? Yeah, it's less range. Because then you have the opposite version of this, which is a long range, which I probably can just rename that the Sniper Kinetic Cannon. So it has slower attack speed and longer range. And then I was messing around with it to try to make dual kinetic cannons. Basically, I was taking the missile launcher and trying to make it to where it acts like this thing can shoot twice at once. I haven't quite figured out how to get it working right. So that one still needs some testing. Same thing with the dual fast kinetic cannon. But my goal is to try to make it to where these consume like basically they have a volley of 2 and then they have a long cooldown. And then I want to make a 4 version of this where it shoots 4 shots very rapidly and then has a cooldown, shoots 4 shots very rapidly, and then maybe a quad or a secta where it shoots 6 at once. Like for really, really late game for like the big battle cruisers and whatnot. I think that would be really, really cool. And maybe make dual versions of the Munon cannon. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I want to do for with the kinetic cannons, but I want to get the AI and stuff working first. And also, there's a lot of things I want to adjust on the plants, get that going first before I really start diving into those. And then subsystems I haven't really adjusted. And now in miscellaneous, I have adjusted the ammo stuff. Again, I made advanced and armored versions of them. And for the traders, I have, for the hauler I should say, I have kind of completely changed how they work. I got rid of the main hauler bay and instead or the main cargo bay. I mean, it's still in the game, but I'm going to get rid of it. And changed it out for different like versions where it's just one. So like this is an advanced parts bay and only holds advanced parts. Electronics bay only holds electronics. Food storage only holds food. Metal bay only holds metal. And then ore bay only holds ore. The reason I did this is because the cargo bay tends to get a little bit confused, especially when your economy is fluctuating on your planets. So by keeping them all in separate spaces, it seems to work a lot better. And I haven't really had a whole lot of problems like I do with the normal haulers. So, and then as I program or as I design the AI ships for them to use, they're going to be using it that way too. So yeah, that was 37 minutes of just talking about subsystems. Holy jeebus. So let's actually start playing the game. First thing actually I want to do before I start playing, let us go here, and then I want to, where is, not economy, structures, scientific laboratories, let's get rid of this so our technology doesn't improve. And let's go ahead and start playing. First thing I want to do is let's design a ship. Our AI buddy is over here, and as you can see, he is launching all of the fighters, so he is using my custom scouts, which for those of you that want to see it is right here. I need to move this where it's supposed to be. It does have 2 fuel cells, and I need to move those like in a proper area. I haven't quite got those where I want them to go. So I think that's what I was doing last time I was actually working on this. I was getting the AI scout to actually work the way it's supposed to. But it's cool to see the AI work. Let's go ahead and get some stuff going. First thing we need to do is we need to make our spaceports so that we can sell more to the galactic market. There we go. And then we need to build our colony ship so we can take over another planet. And then we might do some just very basic designing, like building a few ships and getting that going. Again, the AI is not really going to do anything other than scout. He does build the colony ships and takes over his systems, and will start taking over other systems. But I haven't programmed him yet to actually make fleets and stuff yet. I should say, I think I got him to get a capital ship going, but I haven't got him to make a support ones because they're just not implemented yet, and I still need to design those ships for him. So speaking of that, let us actually design a ship. Let's make it, let's do size 5 for now. And let's design ourselves a frigate. And this frigate is going to be run by people because we don't have AI yet. Oh, that's another thing. I think I made a couple different AIs as well. I can't really show those off because we don't have the research. And let's go crew quarter. Crew quarter. Life support. And then let's go with some tiny maintenance quarters. There we go. And for support, we want coal power plant as our main power generator. Yeah, I need to update these so they have a little bit extra fuel inside them. And then we need some fuel cells. There we go. And then engines, since this is a coal driven, we're gonna have to stick with thrusters. Let's go with one big thruster in the back. And a couple small ones in the well, smaller ones back here. Here we go. Let's make fuel cells a little bit bigger. There we go. And now for weapons, at the moment we only have kinetic cannon and that cannon, so let's go with maybe 2 large particle cannon. Oh, never mind. Took too much space. So okay, so we're gonna have to sacrifice some fuel. And maybe some thrust as well. We still need ammo, which we're gonna go with the advanced ammo. So it gives us a little bit more supply. Oh, we don't actually need a whole really big bridge. Okay. There we go. It'll give us more room. And I guess we could put a particle cannon in front. Nah, never mind. This is just gonna have to have 2 big weapons, I think. How much ammo do we have? That's not bad. So I want another advanced ammo storage on the side, just to sync them up. There we go. That'll be our ship. Okay, how's our ally doing? Has he like expanded his territory? He has taken over this entire area and he has built some haulers. cool. I'm really hoping I can program them to make miners. That would be cool. I really want to see if I can make them mine. There goes his scouts doing all of the exploring. We've colonized our planet too, and it's just doing stuff on its own. It's fine. Let's build our test ship. How much is this going to cost? 18,300, 2,450 advanced parts, and 2,110 electronics. Okay. Alright, our ship is built. Oh, one thing we forgot to add. We have a test ship that has no armor. Whoops. There we go. Alright, Mr. Test Ship. We need you to get retrofitted. This is a command I always get confused with, because sometimes I keep thinking, Sword of the Stars has this, when it's a Star Ruler thing. Oh. And we're not supposed to be doing that. Oh. Hehe. Don't want them to turn to accelerate. I know that it makes sense, but it just means that their engines are just going to blow up, so I like it when it's like homeworld rules. Alright, so we'll take a summary of our ship. Our hull is 2,630 health. Our armor is 4,250. Our weapon systems is 1,400. Control systems are 247. Power system is 300, and engines are 825 hull. For a grand total of 10,800. Not bad for a size 5. Yeah, I think I'm going to make it to where like all normal ships just start at size 5 and they'll scale up from there. So cool. But this is our little test ship. I can't really test it against anything because again, AI doesn't work, remnants don't really work yet, and pirates don't work either. Are they? Is he? I don't know if he's actually going to expand outside of his homeworld area until he has the ability to build a military, because I'm sure he's going to use that to explore more. I need to design their military ship. That's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to design them a military ship and then probably design them a mining ship too. I want to see if they go to planets and start mining them if I give them a ship to actually do that stuff. Because it's not in the the default stuff. They're not currently programmed to, or by default from vanilla, they're never been programmed to actually mine, which is why they never took advantage of asteroids. But I can get the AI to take advantage of the asteroids, so I'll help increase their difficulty and make it easier for them to make fleets. A lot of design work to go. And I'm very, very excited to see this mod do more. But once I get the AI working the way I want to, we're going to go through all of the planets, or all of the planetary structures, and adjust them. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I want to adjust the galactic, what's it called? The galactic capital, so that it levels up as we get research done. Make it more useful in-game. Because it's too OP in the beginning of the game. It's useful in like mid-game, but useless against end-game when you have like 30 or 40 planets, and it's like, even though it still does produce a decent amount until your technology gets really high, but once it gets to a certain point, then it's just like useless. Also, I'm gonna adjust planetary capitals to have their own built-in trade ports to make it easier to expand. I know the AI is gonna take advantage of that, but still. So one thing that also I'm going to make planetary capitals upgrade too as your technology improves. So a lot of things I want to work on. A lot of things indeed. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. If you want to see more of me, I have another channel in the video description called Captain Soban's Other Games, where I play games that are not space or strategy related. One of them I'm actually modding called, it's an old city builder game called SimCity 3000, and I found modding tools and I've been making my own mod, and it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys can check that out. I'm also playing like Fate and Supermarket Simulator and games like that. I also stream on Twitch with my friend Meat, and we play games like 7 Days to Die, Pal World, all those kind of like crafting and survival multiplayer games. They're a lot of fun. We just kind of hang out and BS and just kill things, basically. It's a lot of fun. And then well, one more thing, if you guys could do me a favor, there's a link to my girlfriend's Instagram account in the video description. She is a commissioned artist that does that for a living. If you guys could send her some support and give her a like on Instagram, or give her a follow, I should say, and send her a message saying she's an awesome, amazing person, I would greatly appreciate that. Anyways, guys, until next time, this is Captain Soban signing out.
The Thaker have arrived. Emergency hyperspace procedures initiated. The mothership must survive.